Hello, welcome to episode 422. We're going to do floor crafting. We've done it before, I know, but we've updated it to make it a little bit nicer. I thought we could remove some of the MBT checks, which is exactly what we've done. So it does the same stuff. We can chuck some items on the floor. There they are. There we go. I've used my slime ball to stick the redstone to the stone, and I've got myself a redstone block. Perfect. We've added a little bit of random motion. I say GalSergey did that. He did most of it, to be honest. I asked him about it. I said, this is sort of, can I change all of them? He said, no, just do this, it'll be fine. But we've removed the NBT check from the first item we're looking for, which was stone before, which was a bit crazy because imagine you're mining stone. Well, that's a lot of checks we're doing on all those items and stones we're finding. So we're now checking for the slime ball first, and we've added the player has to be within a distance of 5. And if all of those pass, then we move on to do some NBT checks. So it should be better for performance. And just to make it a bit more interesting, at the beginning I'm going to lie and tell you that we don't need any setup or any objectives. It's not until I was doing the control that I realised we do. So ignore me at the beginning when I say we don't need any setup. We do. Anyway, I've waffled. Let's get on and build it now. Okay, right, we don't need any setup or anything, no scoreboard objectives. We're just going to need one controller. So let's build it here. Wink. Controller. No. Controller. Okay, you're going to be repeating. It needs redstone because I got a lever. Right. In the last version, we were checking for any item, and we're doing an NBT check on it, and we're checking if it's stone. Now, one thing we can just do, because we're using stone, redstone dust, and a slime ball, we can just change the order we're checking for, because stone is going to be pretty likely to find. You're going to find it all over the place, so it's going to keep doing the NBT check on that and then trying to do an NBT check on the next item. So first of all, we're just going to check for something else. So let's check for a slime ball instead first. That will make it better, and we'll do it without an NBT check. We'll do it with a predicate, which will make it even better. So let's start execute as any entity whose type equals item if predicate, my predicate's going in there, it will be a condition, and we'll say Minecraft entity properties, yes, and comma, and then we need which entity, this, okay, and then we'll need the actual predicate, open and close curlies. Let's put predicate is going to be, we want to check that it's a slime ball and there's one of them, and we want to check if it's on the ground. So the first thing we're going to do is check its slots, and in its slots we're going to check its contents, and in its contents we are going to check its items and count equals 1. So let's put that in. So we'll say items equals Minecraft slime ball, and its count equals 1. Okay, so now we've checked to make sure that it is a slime ball, and then we also want to check if it's on the ground. So we want to come out of that contents, I believe. So we'll come out of the contents, and we'll come out of the slots, and we will do flags. What flag are we going to check? I'm going to check if is on ground. That's what it's called, isn't it? Is on ground true. And then we'll run the command at the item. So it has to be a slime ball. It has to be on the ground. It has to be one slime ball. Let's just test that to make sure that's working. So let's just do run say hi. and see what we got there. So if I get myself a slime ball, Let's just get a whole stack because we're going to be throwing them around. Okay, let's throw that. We'll throw it up high. And as soon as it lands, there we go. We got the high. If we chuck anything else, F3D, clear the chat. No, cool. So we're checking for one slime ball, not two slime balls. Let's throw two. Just check that works. 1, 2, and now they've joined together. Nope, no message because there's 2 in a stack. Cool. Okay, let's go back in. Now let's limit it even more because that's going to be running at every slime ball. There's not going to be as many slime balls as stone, so that's already much better. But let's also say if entity, and we'll say if the closest player is with a distance of less than, let's say 5 blocks, it's going to be enough. Okay, then we'll run, say hi. So if you had a slime ball farm running, it's going to find the slime ball, but you're not going to be within 5 blocks, therefore the command's going to stop, and we haven't done any NBT checks so far, so that's good. Let's just check it is running though, and yeah, there we go. We move away, nothing, we move close. Cool. Okay, and that's probably going to be enough to improve performance a fair amount. You can imagine before, if we were going through doing all those NBT checks on the stone, that wouldn't be nice. Right, we don't need this run here. We are going to store success as an entity at S, and remember we're running as the item at the moment, and we're going to store into its age, which is a short, and we're going to store 6,000, which is 5 minutes I believe, so it's going to go, I'm 5 minutes old, I better die. Okay, now let's move on and do the other items. So we will also store success entity, any entity, and we'll do MBT checks here because it's not going to come here as often. So we've already improved performance. Type equals item, MBT equals open and close, item, open and close. Yeah, I feel I'm doing this right. Yeah, I think so. The item will need an ID. Minecraft Redstone count 1, and then we should have OnGround would be true. And then we come out of the NBT check, which we're going to have to fix by the look of it. Distance equals less than 0.5, so it's got to be 0.5 blocks away, or within 0.5 blocks of the first item, the slime ball. Why isn't this working? Because we need to limit it. That's the problem. That's what's the problem here. So we put a limit equals 1, and we're good. So we're executing at the slime ball now, and we stored 6,000 into its age. If the final command is successful, we haven't written the final command yet. And then we're going to find the nearest redstone that's within 0.5 blocks that's on the ground with a count of 1. And we're going to store into its age, the same again, the short 6,000. So if the command is successful, the redstone is going to die as well. And we're basically going to do exactly the same thing again, but for the stone. So we'll go off to store success in an entity, any entity, whose type equals an item, whose MBT equals, open and close the MBT. We need item, open and close item. The item needs an ID. The ID will be Minecraft stone. Now staying within the item brackets is where we put the count, so we stay in there, count of 1, and then we want to stay out of the item, so we come out of that one, but we want to stay within the NBT, and we say OnGround true, and we just check, OnGround is, yeah, I'm sure it's a capital O, capital G. Now we'll come out of the NBT and we'll do our distance check. That's not how you spell distance. And my cursor's gone mad. Distance equals less than 0.5, and we need to limit it to 1. And we'll do the same for the stone. If the last command is successful, we will store in its age the number 6000, so it's going to become 5 minutes old and die. And then we're going to change the end as well. Last time we were summoning a redstone with a passenger, and then we were adding motion to it. But this time we're going to use the loot command to spawn the redstone block. And that way it will add some random motion to it itself. We don't need to give it motion. It'll get a sort of a different bit of motion each time. So let's continue. I'm going to summon an area effect cloud. So we're still at the slime ball. Remember, we put at S right at the beginning for the slime ball. So this is going to summon an area effect cloud at that slime ball. And we are now executing as this area effect cloud. So we will store success as a score, and that's just made me realize we do need a setup because we need to put this score in. I told you porky pies earlier, and we'll call it recipe effects. So now, if the final command is successful, we'll store 6000 into the slime ball's age, 6000 into the redstone's age, 6000 into the stone's age. That's going to kill all of those, and we're going to store the success. So it's going to be 0 or 1, so we're going to store a 1 into the area effect cloud's recipe effects score. And now we will do the final command. It will be loot. We're going to spawn at coordinates because we're still at the original slime ball. And we're going to spawn some loot. And we'll make a little loot table. So we could actually pick from this list here of loot tables that are already in the game, or you could use a data pack to make your own loot table. But we are just going to create one inline in the command block. So we're going to need some pools. Now I'm not going to go into depth on the loot table here. This episode isn't about loot tables. We just want to spawn a redstone block. Okay, pools, open and close. It's a list of pools. And I think we're only going to have one, but let's open that one. How many rolls are we going to do on the loot table? I'm going to do 1. How many rolls? 1 roll. It will be a sausage roll, sorry. How many entries? So this will be entries, and that is going to be, let's say, a list there. Entries. How many entries? Let's add an entry. Whoomp. And my entry is going to be a type and a name. Okay, so the type is going to be an item, and the name is going to be the item that we want to give them, redstone block. Okay, so that looks all right. Now we haven't given that area effect cloud a duration, which means it will die when this command block chain finishes. So it'll die straight away at the moment. Let's do that setup. A bit naughty. Setup. And we're going to do scoreboard, objectives, add, and we call it recipe effects, and it's going to be a dummy. Done. Create that. Okay, so let's get ourselves the items that we need. We've got... Okay, it doesn't matter which order you throw them in. You don't have to throw them in the same order that we put them in the controller. So let's try a stone, a redstone. Ah, there we go. And it jumped off over in that direction that time. So let's see if we get a different result. That's not going to be close enough. Yeah, oh, and it jumped that way. So that's what the loot table's doing. It's just giving us that random motion, just to make it a bit more interesting, really. So far, we're doing nothing with the area effect cloud. Now, he's only there, so we can target him to add some effects. That's why we called the score recipe effects. So let's get a command block here. So, and remember, he's not going to die. The area effect cloud won't die until this chain has finished executing. So he's still alive at the moment. So we'll execute at any entity whose type equals area effect cloud. We don't need to tag him. In fact, in the command we did, we couldn't add tags, but we could add scores, which is why we used the score instead of a tag. And we'll say scores equals recipe effects equals 1, and I will copy all of that because we're going to use it again. We will run, and let's do some particle. I think we did smoke before, and we probably lift it up a little bit. Let's lift it up 0.2 so it's not so deep in the ground. And then we 0.2 on the X, the Y, and the Z. That's our size. Speed of 0. Let's have a count of 100. And we can put normal in. I think it defaults to normal anyway. So now we've got some particles. Done. Let's have a little check. Throw you. Poof. There we go. We've got a little particle of smoke. That's cool. And then we'll just get another one of them. We'll paste in that bit from before. Execute an area effect cloud whose scores recipe effects equals 1. We will run. We will play a sound. I will use the sound I probably play most. Block.amethyst. And I still forget its name. It's amethyst block, isn't it? And we're going to break it. And we'll play it on which channel. Depends, as they change to different volumes. I'm just going to put it on the master channel. For all players, at those coordinates, volume of 1, normal pitch, and a minimum volume of 0. Done. Now we should have our little pingy ding-a-ling-ding sound. That's the official name for it, the pingy ding-a-ling-ding. And we'll put that there. Ah, there we go. Oh, it's so satisfying. I can't believe how satisfying that little ding is. Oh, come on, do one more. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we've used the loop table to make the direction it bounces when it appears a bit more random. I like that. And we've changed the first check. We've removed the MBT from it. And we've said the player has to be close. So this should be quite a bit more, I suppose, performant. And we're done. There we go. That's it for today. Just a quick update for the floor crafting. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.